right, folks, let's get into this week's episode of The Walking Dead. This is episode 14 of season 11 part B, The Rotten Core. And I can easily say this is my favorite episode of season 11 part B thus far. So many good things happened. This episode was just fantastic. Man, shocking reveals. So many different things happened in this episode that you all should be hyped, and I'm here to get you hyped. And as always, my reviews are non-spoilers. That way, when you check it out, you can experience it in the same capacity that I did. Therefore, let's jump into it. So in the beginning of this episode, I will say, like, the first thing I wrote down was like, man, I love seeing the comedic side of Daryl. It's just something so charming about it that just really makes you think like, yeah, that dude would kill you. But also, pretty funny. I like that guy, you know. But more or less, this episode resumes back at the Riverbend Apartment Complex, where we see Toby and the Commonwealth troops still looking for their guns that may or may not be there. But I think we're all convinced that they're not there, and that's why it's more or less a battle of survival for this community, because the Commonwealth is coming in and they're not taking any prisoners here. But in this episode, we see a reunion that we all knew were coming eventually one way or another. And that's Negan returning to seeing some of his former friends. And I mean, yes, they're still friends, but some time has passed. They haven't seen each other in a while. And also, we know the whole Maggie Negan thing is sort of, I don't know, workable, shall we say the least. But it was really cool for Negan and Lydia, who just them looking at each other just gives me chills. And you know, it's a very interesting relationship and dynamic that they have, and the fact that they have like a couple of moments in this episode of just kind of just staring at each other, quick one-liners and whatnot. It's so much mystique to it, so much, I don't know, underboarding respect, maybe reserve as well. But either way, the two of them across from one another just always just makes the hair on my arms raise, you know. But with Negan, we know Negan's always more or less been in a supervisory sort of position. He's always one that is looking to call the shots. And ever since he split up with Maggie, you know, for whatever reasons they did, me personally thinking that he looked at Maggie and he thought he saw himself. So he was like, this isn't good for me. Negan is back in a sort of authoritative way, but you'll see exactly what I mean. But speaking of Negan, literally, I said, what the hell? Like, Negan! Oh my God, some major news coming from the Negan camp. And I gotta say, Negan always had an invite to the cookout, but he definitely has an invite now, folks. Like, for real. And I thought there was a really good line in this episode, and it came from Lydia when she said the Commonwealth is like the Whisperers, just different masks. Well, you definitely got something there, young lady. I had to definitely put that in my review, because like I was like, yeah, I like that one. I'll put that on the shirt, to be honest, you know. But I gotta tell you, with this shocking news coming out of Negan camp, it's a game changer. And it's not just a game changer because of the news, but it's a game changer because of possible liabilities and all sorts of different things revolving around it. So the news is in the center of things, and all of the different pieces around it, all the shifts. And like, that makes some moments really kind of intense in ways that regularly would not have been intense. And also, I feel like OG Negan is kind of coming back into form, which is also a pleasant surprise. Also, with that, we got a little team up with Maggie and Annie, which has some interesting conversation. And I will say that you need to pay attention to Annie, because I think that what she does in this episode, it's something special about it. Like, I don't want to spoil it, but it's something special about it. I think it could be almost overlooked for what she does, but I think for the folks, especially the loyal Walking Dead folks, I think this is the one where you really dig into it and you drop me your conspiracies down below. Your conspiracies, your thoughts, all your rationality, but alongside of what you think this whole Annie thing is. Like, I want you all to pay attention to that, and I want you to come back in the comments and kind of give me your assessment as to why these things happen and whatnot. I'm kind of throwing you a little bit of a curveball here, but like pay attention to the scene that they have together, and then it's at least give me your explanation as to why Annie is doing what she does. So there's that. Now, I really, 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 really love Maggie and Negan, and you know, it's because that their tension that they have is some of the best that we've seen on The Walking Dead. And like, for real, give me the damn series now. Like, after the news broke, I was like, yes, I had my reserves because I thought like the timing of the news was kind of off. But the fact that we are getting it, like, bring it on. I really, really want this. And this episode only just solidified even more why I need this to happen, like right now. Now, with this episode, though, like I gotta say, there's some really major parts in this episode I cannot discuss. And I'm just gonna say that Negan has a lot of good moments. Very good moments all around. And some of these moments are very, very intense. And one so intense that, to be honest, if they had not announced the Negan and Maggie show, I would have been a little bit fearful for Negan in terms of the character. Like, honestly, because I was literally this close to tears, because like it was just that intense, and how it was all built up and the suspense and everything. I was like, oh my god. So anyway, I got to shift from that because that just giving me chills just thinking about it. Now, something, if you've been following my reviews for a while, something I've been very vocal about is Elijah, and how like his presentation led me to feel he was going to be one way, and then he really went the opposite way. And I gotta say that Elijah that I wanted kind of came back, baby. And I was thoroughly surprised, because this is the Elijah I want. I want the stealth assassin Elijah, like the almost the ninja, like bring him on. And he got a little busy in this episode, and I was definitely down for that. Now, back in Commonwealth land, we have Rosita and Daryl, who are, they're troops. So they got missions and whatnot, border patrol and whatnot. But Sebastian decides to recruit them for his special mission. Pretty much, Sebastian has been cut off for his credit supply, so he needs some money. This dude, Sebastian, just blows me. Like, my whole mood just changed even talking about this guy. Anyway, he tells them, like, hey, I need you to do a mission for me. If you go inside this mansion, down that hill, there's a lot of money stashed inside of a safe. But you can't use guns. So, of course, like, Rosita and Daryl are the most equipped for this. It makes sense. But why would they do that? One, is going against their orders. One, is absolutely a suicide mission. Two, who wants to help Sebastian? Like, come on now. But, of course, Sebastian being who he is, he threatens the kids, which we see Daryl does not take that lightly. But it ultimately is the convincing factor for him to go on this mission now. And going on this mission, I mean, it's definitely nothing but a zombie apocalypse heist. I mean, we've seen these type of movies just recently come out, you know what I mean? But it's literally nothing but that. And what goes wrong, what could go wrong, will go wrong. Because that's how it is. And there's even a survivor in the mix of this, which makes things even more heightened. But I gotta say, within this, there's a really cool sequence with Daryl inside the house with some walkers that was really dope. How it was shot and everything, I thought was fantastic. It basically was a blinking light. So it's like light and a blinking alarm. So like a light. With the light blinking, the strobe effect, whatnot, and how it's going dark and bright, and seeing him go through the actions I thought it was pretty cool. And I gotta say, there's also sort of a funny moment in this, because like, since Daryl, has a shift, Daryl, he missed his lunch. And when he misses his lunch, that's gonna definitely worry some folks. And I gotta say, when the backup comes, things are lit. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. But there's a lot of poetic justice in this episode. That was really such a sweet taste of victory, shall I add. And I will say that at the end, there is a major promise, not something I thought I would ever say, but there's a major promise, sort of revelation, that is kind of stamped at the end of this episode that really kind of gave me chills as well too. I think we definitely need to talk about this, folks, once the episode released, and you can check it out. Like, there's a major statement said, and I kind of want to know you all's prediction. If you could kind of guess at what I'm hinting at here, definitely jump in the comments and let me know. But there's a major promise at the end of this episode that I'm like, you know what? I don't know what to think. I like it. I don't like it. I really hate it, but karma maybe. I don't know. But anyway, with all that being said, the last thing I'm going to say for this episode is the big question is who stole the guns? That is the big question. And I think, folks, when you find out, it's not going to be a surprise. It's not going to be a surprise. I think if you do a little bit of basic addition and subtraction, I think you pretty much could come to foe as to who is responsible for this. And whether is it the Riverbend Apartment Complex, folks, or whether it is someone else, I think you can figure it out. I really do. I think if I took a little bit of time myself to kind of predict it, I think I could have guessed it as well, too. But you'll see, because you're going to watch episode 14 of Rotten Core, and then when you do, you're going to come back in the comments and let me know your thoughts about it. Again, it was a fantastic episode, folks, and we got so many more Walking Dead reviews on the way. So jump in the comments, let me know your thoughts, excitement, and hype for this episode, and I'll see you around next week for more reviews from The Walking Dead.
Big